Throughout the entire story of Star Wars, we see objects of vast size, superior technology, and seemingly gargantuan price tags. At one point or another, I'm sure you must have wondered, who pays for all this? Disney and Lucasfilm, of course. As always guys, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Don't worry people, just pulling your leg here. But before we begin, I'd like to give a personal shout out to Alan, Ben, and Ben at Generation Tech for being able to calculate USD to Galactic credit conversion rates, which we'll be using later in the video. Let's now get to discussing who the richest people in the Star Wars universe really were, and how they compared to us mere Earthlings. First off are the big organizations who ran what's to believe the galaxy's most expensive conflict, the Clone Wars. These groups of course include the Banking Clan, Trade Federation, Commerce Guild, and Techno Union. The way the Federation, Guild, and Union operated was all very similar. They were unions of much smaller trading companies all brought together and represented as one larger collective, with the Union being more like a collective of a design firm. The most common thing we have on Earth would be a workers' union, where workers' rights and issues are represented by a larger and higher collective both legally and pastorally. Although they were heavy and blatant supporters of the separatist movement, they also did business with the Republic as a means of trying to appear neutral. This only meant more money for them, and business was business at the end of the planetary rotation. Although we're not given an actual figure of what they've earned, we can speculate that it was in the high billions or low trillions of credits. As an idea of scale, we can use the price of one B1 battle droid, the most common droid in the CIS. One B1 battle droid cost 1,800 credits. So if the Trade Federation had around 5 trillion credits, they could have purchased a whopping 2,777,777,008 battle droids. This seems plausible as this was the majority of the CIS funding, with loans from the Intergalactic Banking Clan and the funding from the many separatist planets and other corporations and figureheads joining together to form the CIS movement. The Intergalactic Banking Clan was the go-to group to obtain lines of credit for your company, local sector, or even system. Their main vault was located on the moon planet of Scipio, where we of course see our favorite Coruscant guard, Commander Thrawn, become victim to the separatist army. Rest in peace, Thrawn. However, I digress, and the Intergalactic Banking Clan essentially worked as any modern day bank on Wall Street nowadays would. They utilized stock markets and provided loans with interest to groups that were accepted. They funded both sides of the war effort, and being quite corrupt, they would alter the balance of the war through interest rates. Although not seen by the naked eye, it was in fact the banking clans that were the true power holders in the war, pulling all the strings behind the scenes. To summarize the big organizations, they all pretty much used the war to make money, be it from trade, interest rates, or design contracts. In the overarching term, this was called war profiteering. Now that we've had a look at the big players, let's look at the shadier side of things. First, I think we should address the biggest slugs in the swamp, the Hutt cartel. These slummy badass gangsters go way back since the age of the Old Republic, with records stating their neutrality between the many wars between the Republic and Sith empires. Throughout the Clone Wars and Galactic Civil War eras, their activity was circulated around two key things: bounty hunting and smuggling. They used their rooted influence from the past millennia to develop illegal trade routes so strong that nobody could break them. And with this money, they then paid hunters bounties for various tasks ranging from assassination to espionage. The list was dangerous and endless. We're unsure about the wealth of the Hutt cartel, however using logic we can assume it was ranging from 500 billion to 2 trillion credits, as they were not a legal organization, but regardless, made their business the law wherever they had the influence. The Black Sun and Pike Syndicate were two other major crime organizations that mostly dealt in drug trafficking. They used these drugs known as spice as an informal way of currency, with the Pikes especially liking to get high off their own supply. The wealth of the Pike Syndicate is one of speculation, however we can assume it was far below the Hutt cartel due to a principle of scale, as well as below the Black Sun due to a certain prince known as Sheezor, the guy you saw in the thumbnail next to Bill Gates. During the Galactic Civil War, Prince Sheezor was considered to be the wealthiest being in the entire Star Wars galaxy. Being on par with Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader, his influence was so vast that he was one of the few people on personal terms with the Emperor. His dealings were in many different branches, ranging from the Hutts to the Empire, and from assassination to black market dealings. Sheezor did it all. Toward the latter years of his life, Sheezor had two homes within the Coruscant system, one being Sheezor's palace near the Imperial Palace on Coruscant, and the other being Fourleen's Fist, a space station in the orbit of Coruscant. It cost 25 million credits to build, so that gives us a good gauge of his wealth. It also states that Sheezor was in fact a trillionaire, and we can of course assume that individuals such as Darth Vader and Palpatine subsequently were too. Using the conversion rate calculated in a video from the previously mentioned Generation Tech, video located in the description, we learned that 1 galactic credit is equivalent to 1.5 US dollars. Now comes the part where we bring things back down to Earth as we compare our richest beings to the richest beings of the Star Wars galaxy. In 2017, Bill Gates was the richest man alive, with an estimated worth of 86 billion US dollars. So, using the estimated wealth of our 3 wealthiest individuals being at least 1 trillion galactic credits, we can assume that Shizor, Palpatine, and Darth Vader all had a wealth of over 1.52 trillion US dollars in their bank accounts. This would of course already make them the richest individuals on Earth, dwarfing the net worth of Bill Gates by hundreds of billions of dollars. To add to the mind blown, this figure is only their personal wealth, and if we take into account the thousands more assets possessed in Vader's, Palpatine's, and Shizor's respective empires, we are looking at insane numbers that we'll probably never see on Earth. Anyways guys, that's pretty much it for this video, and my question to you is, were you surprised by how much these groups and individuals were actually worth? Or was it just business as usual? Let me know below. As always guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.